Okay, welcome back. Today we'll be starting the month with some tarot readings. Now a slightly new camera setup, so hopefully it's cool. Just gonna see how it looks laid out. So we do that here. I just have to tilt it a bit. Hey, Saint Blessed Bretzel, how's it going? What is good? How goes everything? Hey, working off a cue today. Let's see, doing good. Gotta head to work though, but stop and say hi. I always appreciate it, and have a good day at work. Hopefully it is chill for you. But always appreciated. Been shuffling the deck beforehand, so should be ready to go. And pull up the cue. Where are you hiding? All right, the first reading is going to be for Leonardo's Da Vinci Code. I'm just going to say Da Vinci Code for short. Hello, Da Vinci Code. Do a short reading. Not a short reading, we do a full reading, but I mean quick. I'll explain everything on the way. It's a 5-card reading. The St. Blessed Bretzel, be pretty chill. Most of the week has already passed. Yeah. I work on Sunday. They randomly put me on a really long shift, so I'm like, goody. But I had to take Monday off because I got to go to the doctors. I think they're going to X-ray my left foot and plan for next year's surgery. But the doctor needs to get everything documented so he can set up the surgery and put in the proper procedure code to make sure my insurance covers it and everything. We have Da Vinci Code. We do a 5-card spread. I'll explain on the way. So the first card is just the general question. We could treat it like a story, like a video game, or just taking a look and reading at you, what's going on with you right now. It's not addressing anything specific. It's almost like a mystery where things unravel as things go on. So that's also kind of the fun of it, is just seeing where it goes, how it forms. So with that though, get started right away and read the first card. Tarot cards of you or anyone is unfamiliar. They have a set list of meanings and interpretations, but if the cards are played upside down or known as reverse, they have alternate meanings. But I play most cards normally. The second card I usually play in reverse, and if there's any shuffling errors or something slips or I fumble or something, I'll play that card in reverse as well. All right, have a good day, Bretzel. Thanks for chilling, staying high. So just to get started with the first card, I'm explaining everything on the way, and we get the Hermit, which is well represented by a hermit crab. So that's kind of cute. And by the way, I'm using an animal deck, so every card is going to be represented by an animal. But let me get the Hermit. It's a major arcana card, really deeper, more significant meanings. There's minor arcana cards, or think of it as like poker cards. You know, you have this hearts, diamonds, spades, and clubs. So that's the same for this. But then you have an additional set, a 5th set, which is the major arcana. Well, let's just take a look. So normally the Hermit means being alone, isolation, internal. But yeah, it's just generally being, right. A lot of inner thinking, I would say, is the best way to describe it. You know, retreat, take a pause. Sorry, one second. Okay, sorry about that. Just got some messages. This card is going to be internal, retreat, withdrawal, contemplating, thinking. So again, this is just the start of it. So maybe some stuff is going on in your life. You need to take a step back. Maybe you're in the middle of retreating or stepping back, or just reevaluating your life. What's important to you? What's good to you? Rethinking your values, but not like a bad thing. 'Cause people think, oh, withdrawal, retreating, being alone's bad. But maybe you just need time to think, self-reflect, some mental health, take a break. Maybe you're burned out, some relaxation, and then you'll come back refreshed. Or the traditional artwork is depicted by a guy being alone, traveling in the mountains with a lantern. It's almost like you go maybe on a journey to self-discover yourself. But that's just the first start of the card. The second card now is going to be represents the obstacle. So this could be something you have to overcome. Maybe pay attention to a warning, a difficult raid boss, being cock blocked. You're trying to cross the bridge, or like a river or a mountain bridge, but the bridge is broken. So either way, it's going to be played in reverse, and reverse cards have alternate meanings. So we pull up Death, which is represented by the Canadian goose, and usually Death is a very empowering, emboldening, and bigoting card. Death and rebirth, letting go of the past, conclusions, endings of cycles, leaving something behind, but it's going to be in reverse. So that's actually going to have more alternate meanings. Quickly pull up a chart. If the chart wants to load, I should just download or make my own chart sometime. I haven't done that yet. All right, so it's more like fear of endings, not wanting to let go, avoiding change. It's almost like you're stuck in a rut. So it's addressing more. The card itself is like death and rebirth, but this is now addressing more. I would say it's okay to let go. Maybe you're refusing change. Maybe something's because the card also talks about holding on to emotional baggage. So in reverse, it's maybe talking less about maybe you are holding on to something seeking external validation. Maybe you're not ready to give up or leave something behind, and it's like you want the good times, per se, to last forever. And obviously, a lot of internal struggles are going on, so you got to just maybe do the best that you can, because it's getting harder and harder to figure stuff out. But maybe this card as a warning is, I don't know if you're stuck here, if you're in that rut, I'm sorry, or if you need a way out. Maybe this can address something that maybe you have thought about or haven't thought about, that may be like a solution to help you get out of that. Just don't be afraid, I guess, even though it's obviously afraid. We have to make a painful choice ahead. And it's, everything we do weighs in, not just on ourselves, but others. So maybe you have to cut people out of your life. Maybe it's time to pack up your bags and go elsewhere. Maybe a new job. Maybe it's time to pursue more hobbies and passions. But something, I don't know, it's like guilt or something holding you back. So at least you have a little more info on maybe what possibly is going on. But the third card is going to represent positive influences. And with that, we get the Five of Swords, which I believe is not a negative card, but I feel like it has more callouts on it. Go to Swords. Look up the chart for 5. Yeah, I think at some point I have to make up my own chart, because sometimes the website goes down and it's kind of annoying. Okay. Pulls up competitive, insecure, disagreements. So this card, disagreements, competitive, maybe possible betrayal, or just like doing what it takes to get ahead in life. And again, this could be competition with other people, peers, like coworkers, or some literal competition. You could be competing with yourself. It talks about insecurity, so maybe you feel inadequate, not good enough or something, so you try to maybe put on an act of toughness or confidence, even though you're not confident, and it's okay to not be confident. But let's move these cards here. Not be confident, but either way, you have to figure out what's going on with you, where you hold your values, trust in others, if they can trust you, or or like in a corporate sense of business where there's like a job and a promotion, but there's only one position available, but there's other, coworkers competing for the same position. Are you going to paint yourself a better picture to make you look better and backstab and bring other people down? Are you going to do a fair game, let your actions, I guess, speak louder than words, and like let your good work ethic speak for itself? Or it's just a lot of time of thinking that you may have to be a lone warrior, maybe you have to unite with people, but either way, just something more to keep in mind that maybe you got out of the death situation, but then now you're in this situation, even though this card represents positive influences. So maybe it's more time to self reflect, like on the Hermit, and be like, okay, I still feel this way strongly about this and that. And what do you want to do? What is your next move, basically? Again, I don't know what's on the back burner for you, what you got lined up, or if anything's lined up. Maybe if any of this resonates with you, but at least you have something going on and just more like choices, and we all have a choice. We're going to get to the fourth card, sorry, which is the near future. Just going to fast forward a bit and see where you're going with all of this. And we get the world featuring the red panda. Hope that's coming in, or the camera's in focus pretty good. Okay, the world means completion. I'm ending of a cycle, beginning of a new cycle, travel, literally completing things, accomplishing goals, fortune. So maybe whatever you did on those previous cards, maybe you decide to travel the world, maybe you decide to go to conventions, maybe you decide to just meet more people, make genuine connections, or maybe you just started to pursue more of what you care about and what makes you happy and what you're into, rather than, putting up a farce or a lie or a mask on to please others. You're like, I'm gonna do what I like, and it's almost like by pleasing yourself, you'll please others, and not please others, but you'll inspire others because you're being genuine and doing what you do, and that will naturally resonate with other people more. And so basically, just, or if you're a JoJo fan, you can always make the world jokes, but it's a lot of completion, so it's like a good job. You're on your way to doing what you want. Maybe you discovered something along the way. Maybe simply on a trip somewhere and something or someone resonated with you that didn't change your life, but you're like, man, that was so cool. I want to do that again. I want to do more of it, or I want to maybe you got into something new and you don't want to pursue that. So the fifth card is going to be long-term results, or maybe like the end game, ending credits, to be continued. Could be a series finale or season finale cliffhanger. Who knows? But we get the Three of Wands, which represents overseeing opportunities. But let me quickly pull up the chart real quick. Ships coming in. The card's depicted by a person on a high mountain seeing over the land, like almost like he's like the shepherd of the land. It's new opportunities, progress, and predictions. Ships coming in. You're overseeing opportunities. Oh, it's like if you're playing a city simulator game, it's like you're playing Sim City. And then building your world or whatever, and then you're seeing it grow and you're seeing the opportunities and the growth and expansion in it. It's like you're almost like a city planner. But in this case, it could be your hobbies and passions. It could be just something you got into, or like you took over a project, or like maybe started a group, and you're just watching it organically grow. And you see you're overseeing the opportunities. Progress is coming in. You're predicting, hey, things are going in a good way. You can kind of not see the future, but if something's going good, and maybe like statistics and stuff, you can kind of see where something's going, and things are going in a very good direction for you. But at the end of the day, will you be alone? Maybe, or maybe you discovered a higher way of being, and you're just now more into, not more into, but like you seeing more. You can see a little further, I guess, into the future. You're better at planning, risk management, maybe even micromanagement. You're more in tune with yourself and your abilities, and maybe abilities in others. So maybe you're also helping others at the same time. And but the big thing is here is just like you kind of know what's going on. You're into what's around you, things you're vibing because you're being more genuine, and you're in a much better place than you were before because of these experiences, even if they bad or sucked. Because I know some people use that horrible, horrible, horrible phrase, oh, like childhood trauma builds character, which is bullshit, or stuff like that. Or like, look on the bright side, but at least we are who we are throughout our lives, so through all of our experiences. So maybe somewhere, it's kind of like a silver lining that maybe somewhere along these experiences, good or bad, you know what to look out for, you know what to avoid, you know the warning signs, you know the red flags, the red lights. With soccer, the red and yellow cards, so you have more of your wits about you, and but overall, it's like it started out you just need to think. Things got a little difficult. Then things got really difficult and kind of confused. But then things, maybe you made some major life changes or decisions. Things start to get really better, or, looking up and up. And now things are like, this is nice. Hopefully that was cool. But I also like to do a one oracle card just as a bonus to complement the reading. A little fun fortune cookie or no, not happy ending, sorry, fortune cookie, cherry on top, a little pib extra. I'll get the cauldron, which represents rebirth. That's pretty cool because, well, reborn, like you throw stuff into the pot, into the stew. You're throwing in dead ingredients. So, like, you picked herbs, you have some meat. You took once living things that are now kind of dead. You're cooking, you're making food, and you give birth to the stew or the soup. And which is what we eat to revitalize us. So it's like you're almost in a way creating or preserving life, where you're taking some dead things and recycling them in a sort of sense. I think that's kind of cool because that's just another. Whoops! I just bopped the camera, but hope that was a cool reading for you, Leonardo's Da Vinci Code. And I'm just gonna take a quick second because I need to grab one of my books because the online site that I use to give me the full definition of the card is either down or taking extremely long to load. So I'm just gonna grab my old school textbook of tarot cards and their meanings. But I have not most of them memorized. I have a good idea of what they are, but it kind of sucks. I should have checked that before the stream. But it is down, so I'm just gonna quickly grab a book real quick. Put down my headphones. So this is the book, How to Read Tarot, a Modern Guide, but there's like hundreds of pages, so that might be annoying to look up each card that way. Because these, I think, just give definitions rather than telling you straight up what the card is. So I may not even use this, but I just have it here in case the website goes down. But again, I have at least a good idea of what most of the cards are. But kind of sucks that the site's down, but we'll just have to make do. Change the song, and then we'll get on to the next reading. Alrighty, second reading. Let's see, pull up the time. 2025. Sorry. So, okay, this next reading for is Brood War Zergster. So, Brood War Zergster, I do a 5-card spread. I'll explain stuff on the way. Start shuffling the deck. Tomorrow. Okay, so we're gonna start. First card, start of your journey, or like a video game, new game, art JRPG. Name your character, hit start, however you want to like to interpret it. We just start off right away, and we get the Moon, featuring the Arctic Wolf. And this usually means anxiety, intuition, fear, trusting your instinct, maybe secrets, not necessarily secrets revealed, but a lot of uneasiness, but also following your own guidance and maybe like self-discoveries. So as the start to it, since these are generic readings and we're not addressing, say, one specific thing, it's very interesting to see where this goes because it's sorry. I think it's a very start interesting. It's like maybe you play like a RPG game or something and you start a new game, you hit random name generator, random class generator. It's like you're just rolling random and things are looking kind of spooky and weird, but at least I also think it's also can be exciting because things that kind of worry us, depending what it is, if it's something you want to do in life or you're unsure about, like say, hey, I want to get into artwork, or hey, I want to go to school, hey, I want to get a new job. Maybe the little insecurity and stuff or being afraid is a good sign because it means you're on the right track because it's exciting, even if it's making you feel a little uneasy. But again, it's the start of the reading. Maybe this will make more sense as we go along. The second card represents the obstacle, and I play that in reverse. And for anyone that doesn't know, the reverse cards have alternate meanings. We get the Queen of Swords featuring the Shetland pony. But let me pull up the chart for that one. Queen of Swords, where are you? If it wants to load. It normally means independent, fair, and direct. You know what you're doing. Like justice for all type of a thing. And, good, better communicator, more empathy. But in reverse, that all kind of goes down the drain because maybe it's communication errors. Maybe you're relying too much on external validation, dependency. Things are unfair. You're not as direct, beating around the bush. But I know there's no set meaning for a lot of these cards. They all have like generalizations and interpretations. I like to look at the artwork. And I also have a chart of the original artwork pulled up to just see, help compare. All the books I have go into like theory crafting. So for at least today's readings, I'm probably just going to go more with my gut and maybe what I remember from the cards. And I could be a little wrong, but also it's fun for interpretation because everyone will interpret it differently, even if there are quote unquote set rules or set meanings, which I think is really fun about tarot is that you have this exact same reading, the same cards get pulled, but depending who does the reading, you can get slightly or even majorly different outcomes, if you will. So at least with this, though, I don't know what's going on with you. Maybe things aren't so clear. Things are a little off. You feel off. I'm not sure what's going on, but hopefully you can figure out a way to work through it because, again, the obstacle might be something in your way preventing you from proceeding. It could be a mental fog. It could be art block. It could be being cock blocked. It can be trying to cross a bridge. The bridge is broken. Or it can even just be simply a warning or, hey, watch out for that trap hole. So maybe just keep in mind that things take a step back and take a look at the bigger picture and analyze yourself because maybe you made some wrong choices. But I don't want to say wrong choices, but just more like not even questionable choices. Maybe you didn't fully make up your mind, but at least try to just obviously do the best we can. Maybe you're not even in the threat. This card can be simply a warning if you fall off the path that you set yourself on, which I usually default to like passions and hobbies and bring them to life. Maybe you might end up here of uncertainty and stuff and maybe in a little funk, but again, this could be a warning. It could be if you're in here, maybe these could be clues on how to get yourself out. We're going to move to the third card, represents positive influences, and we get King of Cups featuring the raccoon. I don't know if you can see it too good. He's like looking in the water or something. Pretty cute card. Somebody. Please load website. I really don't want to go to the book. The book has pages and pages describing scenarios and that. All right, King of Cups, emotional balance, compassion, moody, more empathetic, more compassionate for people, obviously. So, very good thing. You're a good listener, you're a good communicator. You know how to give good advice. People come to you maybe for advice. Or at least they know that you may not sugarcoat it. You'll be more direct with people. and they know they can count on you for like real talk, I guess, because a lot of people like to talk and use like platitudes and beat around the bush or just need to vent or talk about. But you're like, sure, I will listen to you vent, but then I will also give you my 2 cents on the situation, because stuff like this, or friendships, or listening, giving an ear to someone, it's a two-way street. It's like, yes, you can come to me and I'm giving you my time, but at the same time, I'm listening to you. I would like you to listen what I think or have to say. So it's a two-way street, but at least you're a much good communicator. You know, no, maybe because obviously we're all humans. Emotions will drive us to do stuff. I mean, people are like, oh, you should leave your emotions out of it. I'm like, if you want our emotions to be left out of it, then you can go to a robot or like AI or something. But people come to you and decision making, everything based off of our individuality as people, which involves our emotions. So at least you can, but you're in good emotional balance, so you know when to say no, when to cry, when to get angry. You just have a good sense of your emotions and where they are, where they should be, not should be, but where they happen to be. You can recognize when it is a time for a certain emotion. Not that you pull it out of like your bag or anything, like I'm gonna be this emotion today, or this person made me feel this way, I'm gonna for the rest of the day be like this, but you just have a better sense of your emotions, and that will help a lot of people out. And it's also who you let in to help, because you can only give so much of yourself. You don't want to burn yourself out, but at least you kind of know what's going on, and you're a much good communicator. You can empathize with people, give good advice. So at least whatever you had going on with the Queen of Swords upside down, maybe a little bump in the road or something, but you see in the beginning a better head on your shoulders now, so that's always a good thing. Now we're gonna get Now we're gonna get to the near future. Fast forward a little bit and go bzz, and just see how everything's going. We'll get the Nine of Pentacles featuring the chinchilla. Sleepy little guy. Go to Pentacles. 9. Alright, 9 of Pentacles. Abundance, financial success, luxury. I guess the luxuries in this picture is the chinchilla sleeping, and the abundance is all the fruits and stuff around him. But, you're self-sufficient, you seeing your worth, you have mastery and success, good fortune, prosperity, a sense of security, and just enjoying nature and taking it all in. So pretty cool, because you come a long way and it's been going good, and then now it's like whatever you're doing is bearing fruit. It's successful. But I know people have very many different definitions of what is successful. Some think money, some even think it's you just enjoying what you do. Some think it's like so many different definitions. I like to think it's successful is you're doing what you enjoy, and it's either inspiring or uniting people. And if you can make money from it, cool, or a career, that's cool too. But it doesn't have to be like always career based. You could have just simply set out some goals for yourself and became successful in that term, that you set out things you want to do, you accomplish them. That's it, successful. Lisa also talks about financial success and abundance, so maybe you have a little more than you need, or you have exactly what you need, but you're not stressing, you're not worrying. It is what it is. I just like the part where it just talks about mastery, so you really care, or you're really into or passionate about what you do. That's always a plus in this world of ours. And also just talks about enjoying nature, so maybe since there's like less financial woes or burdens, or less stress, I guess you can just take a step back and enjoy the world, smell the roses, go on a walk, just chill on your hammock or lay down. You can just kind of take it a little slow, because everything's going good. You don't need to rush anywhere. You don't need to frantically make the next thing happen. Just things are coming and going as they are meant to, and also at the rate or pace that they are meant to come and go. Pretty cool. Now we're going to get the final card, which is the 5th card, which represents long-term results. And we get the 4 of Cups featuring the porcupine. Let's pull up 4 of Cups. Where are you? If it wants to load, I gotta find a new site, or just locally download this stuff to my computer. All right. Four of Cups, meditation, retreat, and reevaluating. So getting into your head. Maybe you're like, what now? What do I do? I've accomplished so much. What's the next thing you want to do? Or do you want to take your current thing further? There's a lot of contemplating, just taking basically like a big time out. It's not that you're stuck, you're just like thinking, what now? What should I do? Or maybe because you're in such a good place before, you accomplished a lot of things. Now it's just like, what do I want to do? Do I take a step back, go on break, go on vacation, reevaluate my life, reevaluate my passions and hobbies? Do I want to tweak anything? So it's like a nice break. And just maybe some internal isolation, almost like kind of like the hermit to an extent, and just thinking within, looking within, reconsidering some stuff, or maybe you have a big decision to make. It could be anything as like say moving to a new house or a new country, maybe marriage, or maybe moving in with somebody. Maybe it's a career change, or maybe it's time you like, I want to really pursue this and that, or let's say like artwork or like drawings. Like, is it time to go all in on it? Or maybe you had something, sorry, pop the camera again. Maybe you had something on the back burner. And now you're like, is it time now to do what I've been putting off for so long? So a lot of, I guess, consideration, a lot of things to think about what you do. But overall, though, the reading was good that you're in a place of you're doing what you want. Things are happening, and now it's like you accomplished a lot, but now it's also like, what do you want to do next? And that's where you're really going to sit and think. And you're not limited to certain things. So it's not like, hey, everything in the world's at your disposal. It's like, what do you literally want to go for next? Not that you can't do things simultaneously, but you feel like you want to focus on something more. So it's like, what I want to do. So like content creators, for example, would be like, hey, do I want to change up from my regular schedule? Do I want to try something new? Do I want to invest my life and time into something new? Give it a shot and see if I like it, or so many factors. So that's the tarot reading. Now we're gonna do a bonus oracle card, which is just like a fortune cookie, cherry on top, extra dessert, pib extra, something fun to complement the reading. We get the hat, which represents uniqueness. Like those people at conventions where they believe wearing a fedora makes them unique or give them a personality. But at least in this case, it's like uniqueness. You're different, even if your clothing. It could be something as simple as dressing differently, but you're more unique, and people may or may not understand that. But you're like, that's okay. They don't have to. Because you're you. You're doing your thing. I'm me. I'm doing my thing. We're all doing our thing. We're all existing. But it's also nice to have a little extra flair, razzle dazzle, because say you move into an apartment, a house, or whatever, you're like, oh, the wall can use some decorations. I want like candles or like crystals around the room, posters. We decorate things. And also, I think it's just more fun. So I see the hat as being fun and joy, and just again, well, the card itself talks about uniqueness, but just personalizing stuff. So I hope that was cool for you. Sorry, I was slightly limited time today, so I might do some more. Might not do as many readings as I usually do, but I still want to do some because I haven't done any for like 3 weeks. I think it was 3 weeks. Well, let me just shuffle and we'll get on to the next. And I also thought maybe one day for a stream we could do tarot, and not just readings, but also like looking at the artwork and maybe see if I can find any history of the artwork and see how it correlates to the meaning. Almost like tarot talk rather than readings, but maybe more like a discussion on the artwork and dig into the meaning of the cards themselves. But that I would have to really plan for and do. I have to do more homework on that. But let me just quickly shuffle and change the song, and we'll get on to the next reading. I'll go with Italy from Road Rash 3, Tour de Force. Let's shuffle a little bit more, and then we'll get to the next reading. Almost ready. Hold the timestamp, 40 minutes. Alright, this reading is for Shadow Gem Cat's Eye. Okay, that was a mouthful, but whatever. Shadow Gem Cat's Eye, I do a 5-card spread, and just takes a look at you now in the present, the moment, what you're doing, how you're doing, reading from your book, life script, whatever you want to call it, your story. And I'll just jump into it. We do a 5-card spread, and I'll explain it on the way. The second card is the obstacle, and I always play that in reverse. The first card is just the starting to the journey, or thingy factor, significant factor. Those proper names and verbiage, but it's like whatever. I like just using my own words or interpretations. Almost like say like a JRPG or something. You make it, you name your character, you hit go, you start your adventure. And with that, we get the Two of Swords featuring the axolotl. Bring up swords. Where are you? Ooh. Make it look a little fancier. Let me put it in camera and tilt it more. Decisions, options, avoidance. So a lot of choices to make, but you've been burned by things in the past, so you're a little more aware now. Maybe burdens in the past, or people burned you so many times that you have a more of a sixth sense of to look out for trouble, when to help somebody, when to stay clear of them. You can see like or smell danger or like just troublemaking and stuff a mile away, so you can protect yourself better from it. But it also means you might, because you're more on guard per se, that you're gonna potentially maybe keep people out that not you should bring in, but you might be less likely to let people in your circle of trust or whatever, because you're on guard more and you're more wary about potential what ifs. And again, like fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. You just have your guard up more. You have choices to make. You got to let go, you got to choose who you let in, maybe even take out the emotional baggage, but at least you have options. So now you're more in your head of thinking and weighing your options, or in the fighting game terms, option selects. And so again, I don't know the full context of maybe what's going on, but at least this is the start, and we can dissect it more as we go along. The second card is going to be the obstacle, and that's the bump in the road, cock block, getting a warning. Hey, there's a trap hole over there. Hey, the bridge is broken. How do we get over this bridge? Something impeding you on your journey or preventing you from progressing. Or it could even be simply a warning. Hey, watch out. You might end up here. From that, we get the chinchilla, featuring again not the chinchilla, sorry, Nine of Pentacles, featuring the chinchilla, but in reverse. So again, alternate meanings. Normally, it means abundance, efficiency, your worth, luxury, financial success. But reverse, it's like poor choices, loss, repairs, wasteful, foolish decisions, overthinking, reckless spending, and instability. So things are good, but maybe you got into your own head too much, or maybe others influenced you a lot. But at the end of the day, it is all our choice, regardless of how you got here. It's now a wake up call to get out of here. And these are hints, basically, maybe things that might have brought you down here, things you can do to turn yourself around, or what you're doing around. So, which is good to keep in mind. It says poor choices and loss, so maybe it's time to change it up. I know it's hard to know what to do better if you necessarily don't know what you did wrong, but maybe you have to reevaluate yourself even more, because the first card talked about that, evaluating, avoiding, choosing, getting burned by people, choosing what to do. So now it's like, okay, this is still kind of happening. And the part talks about overworking, reckless spending, is maybe you're trying to make it happen. Maybe you believe in what you're doing so much that you're like, this needs to work, even though it's maybe obviously not working. And that could also lead to loss, because you're investing more time. You're working like overtime or in overdrive mode to try to make it all work out. Maybe you're trying to help other people, but maybe you're burning yourself out that way. So maybe it's time to take a step back, do some self-care. And how can you help others if you can't help yourself, kind of a thing. People might call it being selfish, but I'll just say, so what? It's they're not the ones paying your bills. They're not the ones in your life or helping you out at home, or say even encouraging you or even supporting you. So it's like you will have to, if the, be selfish, but more in the self-caring way, not like a greedy way. But people might try to label you as being greedy and selfish, but I'm like, no, dude, I gotta look out for me because it's my life. I have to do what I need to do, and naturally, of course, you want to help other people. That's fine, but it seems like you're giving so much of yourself, and only one person can give so much. You can only give what you give, but it feels like you're again giving more than what you can give, and that's probably where the burnout and loss and all that stuff is leading to. To me, just a warning that take a step back, do a lot of self care, even if you have to cut ties or tell people like, sorry, can't, not interested or can't help you. In fact, you can even start asking for help too, because that can be another way to see maybe some of who your real friends are, because real friends will want to help you. They'll remember what you did for them, the kindness. Not that it's like, hey, you owe me, but just, hey, gotta slow down, take a step back. People understand that, it's cool, but then when other people get weirded out or act like you're the problem just for asking for some help, then you know what's going on with those friendships. But anyway, we're gonna get to the third card, which hopefully you work through that, identify some issues, maybe know what to work on, how to tackle any potential problems. And we can get to the third card, positive influences, and we get justice, featuring the magpie. Up the chart, justice, where are you? It usually means law is fair, true, well, justice itself. It talks about gray area, apologizing, having accountability, creating a vision, making decisions. You're owning up to like your mistakes and bad stuff, but you're letting people know they can hold you accountable, but you're also going to hold other people accountable. You want to make this kind of like utopian society where everything's good and fair for people, but at the same time, people have to pull their weight too. It can't be a free ride, or not everyone has to rely on you to make all their problems go away, or what have you. But like it talks about gray area because that's left up to interpretation. Not everyone's going to see eye to eye and feel the same exact way. And talks about just the truth coming out, or just being truthful, being honest with ourselves, being honest with each other, to move forward, to form better, I guess, bonds, relationships, and friendships. Because gotta have trust in each other. But I think the main part of this card, or the good, really good part about this card, is about holding others accountable and holding yourself accountable, making it truly a fair playing ground. So maybe people taking unfair advantage of you, you're still keeping, friendships with them and that, but you're gonna be like, I know what you're doing. Give a little, gotta get a little, gotta get a little, you gotta give a little. It's no more give and take relationships. It's more like, hey, let's all just unite and get shit done for the greater good. But because we want to make things better for everyone, not just ourselves. At least a very like healing card, I would say, and which is good because it sounded like you really needed that. The fourth card we're going to go is just fast forward into the near future a bit and just see how it's going, where you're at. And we get the 10 of Swords, featuring the Black Cat. That little guy, look at me, stuck out in the rain. Not fun. But it is a sad card. So let me go pull it up. Where are you, Swords? Come on, please load. Not today. Okay, wounds, losses, endings, crisis. You're stuck in a phase, or you're stuck, patterns are repeating. You're stuck in a pattern. You kind of realize you're stuck in a pattern or repeating the same things, but then you also realize you want change. But also talks about wounds, loss, and pains and endings. So at least this card says recognizes, hey, you're repeating the same mistakes. It's almost like that movie Groundhog Day or 1201 or that episode of Space Dandy or many other shows that do that same day keeps repeating, and they literally have to break the cycle in order to progress with time, I guess, in a sense. So maybe same mistakes happen, maybe you're falling for the same traps, but in just different disguises. But in the end, it's the same stuff is getting you and keeping you down. It hurts. So many losses. And now you're in a crisis mode because you're like, shit needs to change, but maybe you don't know how, but at least you identify it's time to change and that the same things kind of keep happening. I know some things are in and out of our control, but at least you are now like, dude, this, like, maybe you just pause, like, shit, this is happening again. And then you're like, oh shit, how many times has this been happening over and over and over again? But now you're like, I need out. And maybe to get out, you have to make a drastic change where you have to do like a big purge, a lot of crying and grieving and hurting, but at least you recognize change needs to happen. And now, though, you may not have the answers or maybe not know even know how to break the cycle, but at least you're aware that you need to break the cycle. And you can now, being aware of it, work towards breaking that cycle. Because if you stay in this repeating path and cycle, you're just going to burn yourself out into oblivion. And people might be like, oh, well, he's just angry at the world, or he, has, what's his problem? What's her deal? What's their problem? And it's literally nothing. Just you got burnt out, you gave too much of yourself, and now it's like you're dying, and no one even wants to possibly even help you because they just see you as being a nuisance, or they got their value, they got what they wanted out of you. So they're like, oh, you're nothing to me now. You did, I got what I needed out of this like friendship, relationship, business partnership, whatever. Now that you're burnt out, I guess I don't need you anymore. So, and that's just one example, but at least the big thing is realizing change needs to happen. You want to keep living. If people want to live in the past or hate each other or, stay in the past and rot away, that's on them. But you're like, I kind of want to live. You want to pluck the thorns or needles or quills out of you as if you got stung by something, and you want to heal. You want to move on. You want to heal. You want to do better. You want to be better. Not just for yourself, but just, for the sake of existence. So a little interesting turn we got there. Now we're going to get to the fifth and final card, and that's going to be the long-term results, ending credits, GG, to be continued, cliffhanger, who knows, M. Night Shyamalan twist, and we get the Devil, represented by the Victorian Crown Pigeon. So that's a pretty heavy card because it talks about addiction, unhealthy attachments, and greed and fear. But let me pull up. Is the devil? Where are you? Just take a look at it real quick and see if there's any other things of meaning missing, and then I'll continue reading it. Yeah, addiction, sexuality, attachment, greed, fear, unhealthy attachments, dependency, meaning external validation. So just general. That's what attachment. So maybe you can't let go of something. Other people have said let go. Maybe it's just something you can't bring yourself to let go, and that can correlate back to why you're still stuck in that cycle because things aren't changing. Even if you're technically, say, doing all the right things and good moves, it's like, well, why are these bad things, or why does this shit keep happening? Even if you're technically, like, on paper, doing good, positive things, but something's not quite right. Maybe there's an illusion somewhere that you either put yourself under, others put you under. It's like maybe now you're still stuck in the repeating patterns, but you got more clues of maybe how to break out of it. You got to break the spell as well. Because even if you break the patterns, you still, I guess, essentially have a debuff on you. Or you're cursed by haunted by a ghost or something. So it's like, okay, now you got to break that cycle. You broke it, but shit still keeps happening in a weird, ironic twist kind of a way. So now it's like we're going to another level of awareness that there's something much deeper at play going on. It could be on a spiritual level, physical level, mental level, metaphorical level. That maybe relying too much on external validation, have unhealthy attachments, and you're you have fear and greed because you're afraid of losing stuff. In this case, people usually point to money or friendship. You're more greedy now because you want to hold on. You're like, I can't lose this, so you tighten your grip even more on these things. And it talks about sexuality. Maybe you're not getting stuff. Maybe it could talk about your own sexuality of being like, people may put big labels on these: straight, gay, bi, whatever, but maybe you weren't into what you thought you were, and then you don't know how to feel through self-discovery. Or maybe also you put too much value on being in a relationship with someone. or having a said partner, and it's like really messing with your mind. But either way, there's something going on in here at play. You got to now identify another issue. So I would treat this as almost like a season finale cliffhanger of some TV show where like some huge evidence came out, and then but you can't see how it resolves. So this might even need like a part two reading later on. See if it changed, or you got through it, or got, I wouldn't say over it because I don't mean it in like a rude way, but just like work through it. But at least finishing up with the devil, I feel like you're doing more, but things are just something's still not quite right. Even though you broke the cycle, now you're stuck in another temporary cycle of pain and suffering, and it's like maybe you thought you were good. Maybe I know some people jump from, like, say as an example, relationship to relationship to relationship because they're afraid to either be alone, or maybe they feel not validated if they're alone and have to be in a relationship because they have a sense of dependency and a massive need for external validation. So maybe just take things slow. Maybe rethink a lot of stuff. Say, hey, you're able to break that cycle of the pain from before with the Ten of Swords, but now it's maybe like, hey, something else is going on. So unfortunately, it's a never-ending story. So even though you can be completely purge and cleanse yourself of something, there's always something around the corner, and or something that's always been a part of you that now you're only kind of realizing and recognizing. And then maybe since this is kind of a new self-discovery, you're not really sure how to deal with it or where to even begin. Because you identified something's there, but it's like now you have to identify what the actual issue is and what's going on. A will to be continued. I would say, season finale of a show, semi cliffhanger. But now we're going to do an oracle card. Just fun to complement the reading and see what little bonus you get. And we get Mary Catherine Laveu, which represents liberation. So you kind of really needed that because you need to liberate and set yourself free. And, unshackle yourself, um, purge yourself of the need for external validation, focus on yourself, doing maybe even less group effort things, and just focus more on yourself. And I know a lot of people take that as, oh yeah, just go to the gym more, get more rest, eat better. No, I mean really like be a better you by focusing more self-care, knowing your limits, taking the time to take timeouts, being okay with telling people no, because I know a lot of people also might want to be a people pleaser, say yes and everything, but this is just saying, hey, slow down, do self-care, and you're going to feel so much more genuine and free and liberated because you're paying attention to you, or I know it may sound tough, actually doing self-care. Even though that means telling other people to fuck off, it's just like, hey, I'm here for you. You guys took a lot of advantage of me. You used me. I need time now for myself. And you're learning to say no to people and know more of your limits. You know more about what you can and can't give, what you can and can't do for people. So it's being also in the sense more assertive as well. I know some people might take that as a bad thing, but it's like it's never a bad thing to care about yourself. I don't care people go on saying, oh, but you're being greedy, you're being selfish. You're like, no, at some point you have to address, I need time for myself. And that maybe be less of a people pleaser and be more of a yourself pleaser. But I hope that reading was cool for you. It was pretty interesting because it started off pretty good, then it got a little spicy, then it got kind of okay again, then it took a very spicy turn near to the last two cards. So very, very spicy. I just shuffle the deck and we'll do another one. Put the timer. 59:45. All right, this reading is for this Keikona amoeba. Pretty awesome name. Um, anyway, amoeba, we do a 5 card spread. Kind of tells a little story about you, what's going on in the present. How are you today? What's going on with you? Not addressing anything specific, but just more generalizations. But again, reading from your book or your life script, however you want to interpret it. I'll explain stuff on the way. Just the only thing you need to know, all the cards have meanings. If cards are ever played upside down and reversed, they have alternate meanings. And I always play the second card, which is the obstacle. I play that in reverse all the time. I feel it's more fitting, if that makes any sense. But alrighty, done shuffling. So let us begin. New game plus, well, not new game plus, just new game. Name your character, hit go, see where the adventure takes us. And we get death, which is represented by the Canadian goose. So a very embiggening, empowering card. More metaphorical sense of death and rebirth, but people see it like, oh no, we're gonna die, it's doomed. I mean, yeah, the card has some gloomy stuff on it, but it's also very liberating. So it means endings, change, transformation. Transformation, letting go of the old, leaving something behind, letting go of the emotional baggage, starting a new rebirth. Hence the change in transformation, major transformation, libration, not liberation, but libration. I had to Google that one. If this planets or stars like aligning or something, but it's just a very empowering card, and this is a major arcana card, so it's a very more meaningful, impactful stuff, major like event or life situation stuff. So maybe you had stuff sitting on the back burner, maybe you had some recent experiences, maybe you decided to let go of some emotional baggage, whatever it is, you felt reborn, refreshed, maybe you're being more genuine, maybe there's something you want to do and put off or pursue like a hobby and passion. Maybe you had a breakup with friends or families or like a lover and you finally got over it, you got through it. So many hardships or some like major thing going on, but either way, because of the situation, how you got through it, you feel refreshed, reborn, a huge burden off your chest, emotional baggage is set behind, and then you can move forward in life and go on new journeys, new adventures, or even just enjoy life again because you're reborn. Almost like a caterpillar, you go in a cocoon, then you become a butterfly. The new chapters in your life have begun or are about to, or if not, have already done so. The second card is going to be the obstacle, and this is where things get, I guess, a little more interesting. That it's played in reverse. The cards have alternate meanings, and it's used essentially against you. Well, not really against you, but to address something about you. It could be a warning. It could be like, hey, watch out. You might end up here. You don't want to end up here. Or it can even be, you're in here now. What can we do to address, maybe identify any issues or problems that are impeding you so you can get out of here. And that we get the 5 of Wands featuring Shima Igna, which are birds. 5 of Swords, where are you? Normally means competition, insecure and disagreements, and betrayal and all. Oh no, I'm on the wrong one. That's Swords. I got Wands. Sorry about that. Let's go back. But I like having these charts with me in case I pull the wrong cards or something. I can quickly make up and not do over, but before I go into reading, I always like to make sure I have the right card description pulled up. It usually means disagreements, competition, and conflict, and fighting. Proving your worth is normally. This one would be a sense of inadequacy, maybe overworking, giving too much of yourself, and just a lot of conflict. The card itself shows birds like fighting. The traditional card shows a bunch of kids playing with wands and all competition, and just kids being kids playing, but also life lessons of asserting one's dominance, strength, proving your worth, working together, like a sense of community at the same time, almost like a dojo or something. But in reverse, it might be a lot of conflicts with others, disagreements. It could be so many things. Because all these cards have very loose meanings, but either solidify them or at least give them a little paint my 2 cents on them. A lot of it I like to do with the artwork. Maybe one stream I'll just, no, it's hard because I don't like half the cards, but maybe do a reading where I'm just basing it off the artwork of the cards. That might be again another thing. But there's a lot of conflict. Maybe not seeing your worth. Maybe you feel left behind, or you don't belong in the crowd. You're kind of more of a loner, or maybe you're like that kid in school in the corner that like nobody really knew or didn't like or didn't have many friends, and you'd eat like the paste. You'd eat the glue. But at least with this, you're reborn, rebirth, feeling good, things are going good, but now there's like a lot of internal struggles, and I don't know necessarily self-pity, maybe things didn't work out, maybe things aren't working out, maybe it's time for a change, or just really look back on yourself and take, maybe you took too much action, maybe, I wouldn't say make the wrong choice, but you made a choice that didn't line up with what you were into or believed in, so now it's like, do I stick with it? Do I abandon it? Do I do something else? Then you start thinking about your peers, because this is not only affecting you, but your people around you too. So this is much more than a traditional you problem. It's more of a global issue, or at least among your friend group or family, whatever, what have you. It's a lot of thinking to do, not necessarily sure, but at least if we go to the third card, maybe again as we go through the cards and the readings, things will make more sense. So after that, we're gonna get positive influences, and this is where things get a little healing. You get to move forward, and maybe, but again, from those past cards, maybe just heed any potential warnings of things might get a little rocky, or if you're in there now, maybe how to get out is to reevaluate your situation. When we get to the third card, it's the Ace of Wands, which features the albino rat, and I really like this card because it talks about creativity. So let me pull it up. Where are you, Wands? Ace. And I think for future streams, I'm gonna have to not rely on internet um, sites for the description of the cards. I should probably write them down so this doesn't happen again. So I can just open it and not have to wait for a site to load. But Ace of Wands, inspiration, growth, but yet also delays. So maybe you got really inspired, maybe something finally clicked, or maybe more passion came out of you. You're flowing with ideas. You want to do all the things you can. It's like the world is your canvas, and you're like the master painter. Things are going in a good direction. Good things take time, and you'll see a lot of growth and development because you're into this. So say like if you're not into artwork, it's like you're gonna start learning how to draw, and you're gonna see the progress. It flows. You gotta learn like sketching, shading, coloring, all that stuff. Or in this case, like literal painting. It's just how to paint. And it also talks about delays though, because again, things take time, but at least you have the passion and the ideas, and now it's like, okay, you're gonna execute them, but to see the growth or it bear like fruit might take a while, because when you learn something new, yeah, you could be a prodigy child, you could be talented and stuff, or even inept and not very good. It's still regardless gonna take time. It's an investment, but a good investment in my opinion, but such a very liberating and fun card. So with that, we're going to get to the fourth card, and it's going to be the near future. We're just going to fast forward a bit and just see how you're doing, where this is all going. And we get the Nine of Swords, featuring the Harbor Seal. Now I'm going to take a look at swords. How are you? 9. Again, this deck, it was a animal deck that I purchased from Clover Puff at Anthrocon last year. Every card is done by a different artist, or at least the 78 cards. It's about, I think, 70 artists. I think some of them might have done multiple cards, but it's such a cool project that a bunch of people did artwork for the deck. So I think that's really cool. And we got 9 of Swords, worry, fear, and anxiety. So maybe the new thing isn't paying off as much, or maybe people aren't into it. Maybe you're unsure if you're into the thing you got into or passionate about, or maybe just some hardships are happening now. You're starting to question yourself, and you just have to really think, and you just really have to think and just be like, what do I do now? Is this the right choice, right decision? Should I, again, almost like the second card, should I stick with it? like basically what do, but it's all very sad and wallowing card, if you will, because it's just talking about this worry now. So maybe you feel like you're not progressing as fast enough, or you're not improving as fast as you would like. Maybe you felt you hit a wall. Maybe you invested a lot of time and money into this, but it doesn't seem to be bearing fruit. Naturally, it's going to add anxiety and fear because now you're like, what if? Did I make a mistake? Maybe you overspent on it, or maybe let's just say like to learn a skill or something, you gave yourself like 5 months or a year to learn, and that time has passed, and you're like, crap, it's still difficult. Not that it's not clicking, you do see the improvement and everything, but it's like, crap, it's taking much longer than I anticipated, and now maybe you feel a little worn out and exhausted, and you're at this point now where you're like, should I keep pursuing it? But I feel, depending what it is, of course, context. I don't have all the context, but kind of yeah. But unless, or it could be simply you're not feeling it anymore. You lost your drive and passion for it. And there's nothing wrong with also trying things. But maybe you feel a little distraught or worried because you are really into it. You want it to work. You want to do it up, but it's not quite clicking with you. Or this may sound harsh because some people try to explain something. Or isn't Ping Pong the animation? If anyone's ever watched that anime, it's a pretty good anime. Only 11 episodes, so really quick. But at the end, there's one guy that wanted to be so good at ping pong, he became like a kind of like a prodigy child. He tried to do really good in skill, and he got fed up because no matter how hard he tried and put into the game, he plateaued at a certain skill level, and he got furious that he couldn't break it or get better. And eventually, the main character or one of the main characters told him why it's not working out for him, and he's like, "What's the secret? What's going on? Why can't I improve?" And the main character said, because you don't have any talent. And that shattered the guy because it made him realize, yes, he's working hard, which is fine. You can, make a skill, but he doesn't have any natural talent for the thing he loves so much. And that kind of shattered the guy's world, but it also opened the guy's eyes that, yeah, he can like simulate being good at it, mechanically, have very good fundamentals, but at the end of the day, the guy just had no talent. And I thought that was so cool because people believe, yes, anyone can get into something, you can get into something, but if you're not, you know, some people can make it happen with no talent. Some people, it's easier if they're talented. But at the end of the day, some things are just not meant to be, no matter how much you want them to be. But it also goes both ways. So it's not just like, oh, it wasn't meant to be. Some things are meant to be, even if you didn't put in any effort or anything. So it's not a condemning or one-way street. It's a two-way street, but it's also good to know that, hey, I guess I could have wrapped it up easier and just said you might not be cut out for it, even though you want to do it. But then at least you may recognize, hey, I'm actually not cut out for this. I should maybe give it an even bigger, harder push and go and try it again and see if you can like have a breakthrough. Or maybe it could also be a time to say, hey, cut your losses. Don't pour your life and time into this and finances into this, especially if it's something that you want or need to say work out, maybe for like financial reasons. And there's nothing wrong with retreating or experimenting because not everyone is into everything. They're not meant for everything. We can't do all the things, even though that's cool if we could do all the things. But I think it's more important that you gave it a good, honest, and earnest try. And if you want to say, let's just say it's like a video game, you got a difficult boss, got a game over. It's like, do you continue? Oh no, you're out of continues. Well, time to start the game again. Do you want to still play this game and try to beat the boss? Or do you want to, call it quits and play another game? That's all up to you. Whatever you do, I'm sure you'll be confident in your decision. But I guess another sense is don't let it keep you down. You want to try again, cool. But if you want to call it quits and maybe do something else, that's cool too. It's just all how you feel about it, how strongly you feel about it, how much you invested into it, and where you want to go with it. Because I know a lot of people get this sense, oh, but I invested so much time in it, I can't stop now. It's like those World of Warcraft players or MMO players. Oh, I've been playing World of Warcraft for like 7 years. I want to quit, but I put 7 years of my life into it. Therefore, I cannot stop playing. Even though the game has been progressively getting worse and worse and worse every year. My favorite time for World of Warcraft was the vanilla experience and maybe Burning Crusade. I felt like Wrath of the Lich King was cool, but then the game started to taper down and kind of start to go downhill. But so again, all up to you. Whatever you want to do, cool. It's your life, your decisions. not good or bad. It is kind of, it just is. Which again, not a good or bad thing. It's, you have a lot of freedom too, but just you don't feel, I guess, peer pressured into having to stick with something if you are not into it or not feeling it anymore. All right, we're going to get to the fifth card, which is the long-term results, the fast forward even further into the future down the road, see where it's going, see if we wrap it up with a GG ending credits, or if it's like a cliffhanger or to be continued or something. And we get the Fool, represented by the Arctic Fox. The Fool is very nice because it's a happy-go-lucky card, a hopeful card. But it also talks about starting new beginnings, so maybe... Well, let me pull up the chart first, and I'll read it off, and then I'll give you my 3 cents on that. If the site ever wants to load. Yeah, beginnings, innocence, and risk-taking, believe in the new you. Starting of a new phase. Happy-go-lucky, literally taking a leap of faith. Blind, literally the Fool, because a lot of people see or hear the Fool, they think, oh, a sucker, or the town fool or jester, a clown. But the Fool is more good spirited in this case. Like, you're naive, you believe you're starting a new adventure, you have a lot of faith, you want to explore. So it's a very happy card. So this one to me is saying, yeah, whatever that thing was from the last card was, you decided, hey, you know what, I am going to withdraw. I invested enough time. I don't like where it's going. It was cool to try and make the attempt because you learned a lot along the way, but now you're like, I want to do this other thing that I'm jazzed up about. It's almost like full circle. It's like you put in another game, but you took the experience and like what you remember, the ups and downs, goods and bads from the previous game, and you're going to apply them to the new game. And basically you're just optimistic, and you're in a better head mind space, and you know more to expect less from things and just go with the flow, and you want to just see where life takes you next. Of course, this also involves risk taking, but a lot of innocence and new beginnings, a new you. You feel refreshed, and you're like, you know what, that was a cool experience. I want to have another cool experience, and that's exactly what you're going to do. Even if you decide to repeat almost the same stuff, maybe you'll do it differently, but at least you have a more hopeful and optimistic outlook and everything. So that's really cool because that wrapped it up. That on to the next, but in a good way. You're content. You stopped whatever that stuff was, or maybe cut back on it, and then you're like, maybe along that way you met someone or met people or just had an experience that got you jazzed up about pursuing something else or even giving something else a try, and now you're even more excited to do that. So very cool. And now I'm going to do a quick oracle card as a bonus, cherry on top fortune cookie, just to complement the reading. And we get Joan of Arc, which represents courage. So maybe you have the courage in the sense to, even though you invested all that time into that stuff and it didn't work out, you still have the courage to go on and even try something new, even though it could be equally scary, because you're like, what if I invest another X amount of time and money of my life and it doesn't work out again? You're like, you know what, that's okay. Because guess what? So many things to do in life that you're like, on to the next, I'll do the next stuff. And you're not afraid to take, I guess, the leap of faith and try new things and experiment, and you'll keep going, which is good, because after I know 1 or 2 bad experiences, people tend to shut down or stop or just abandon everything. But at least you're like, I want to find out. I'm protecting myself, going in with good vibes, good attitude, can do, and sometimes you also have the courage to not do something as well, because people think it takes courage to do something, but it also takes courage to not do something. Know when to act, know when to stay and be idle, but you're acting, and even if maybe people warn you, oh, that may not be cool, or I know a lot of societies see things, if you're not making money, you're worthless. Be like, I care about this thing, I want to do it. So regardless of if there's any monetary value, you're just like, I want to live, I want to experience, I want to do. And you have the courage to do it, even if it doesn't say bear fruit, or maybe take a little financial loss or whatever. You're willing to try, even if it doesn't say work out. You're willing to give it a shot, and that's, I think, really important, because a lot of people don't do that stuff. Yeah, I hope that was cool. And even though we've only been this hour and 20 minutes, I am probably going to wrap it up. And, try to maybe do more research and homework and do other types of tarot streams, not just readings, because it goes beyond readings as well. And also the website's really laggy where I get most of my info from. And another thing is I might try to just write down the meanings on, like, I'll call them cheat sheets or cards or something, so I can make it quick, because I don't want to have to consult a dictionary every time to make sure I got the exact good right meaning down. And yes, a lot of it's up to interpretation, but I like to read off the proper meanings first, so that way you know what the card means. And then when I give my 2 cents on our interpretation, we know how it affects the interpretation, because at least I present what the meanings are. But the site's been really laggy, and I don't know, honestly, up until now, why I've been relying on a website for the meanings. And I probably should have downloaded the meanings or made like my own spreadsheets, but I just haven't, because it was so convenient to just go to the website. But now the website's either half down or something's up with it, and it really does affect the readings, because I like it to be smooth. But if it's not going to be smooth, I don't feel like I can give. My attention's going to be divided, because I'm going to be like trying to look up stuff from additional resources, and not something I want to do, and delay the read. It feels like it just interrupts the flow of the reading. But yeah, it's cool. I also got a new camera set up. I have a tripod with a boomstick arm. So I think it's really, it's really cool. Because before I had like a little mini tripod thing, or not a tripod, but just a camera stand on my desk. But then every time I would type, or even though my table might shake a little bit, the whole camera would go wobbly, and it's really distracting. And I didn't realize how bad it was. So these are the boomstick arm. Yeah, the table may shake a bit, but the camera won't. And it's also cool because everything's not in my face. Because before, I had to reach around with my arm to move the mouse, and it was just very kind of annoying. So now with the tripod, at least, I have access with my hands to my whole desk, and then the camera doesn't shake. So that's also really cool. But we're gonna probably just end it here. Yeah, Darkest Dungeon Goozy is a I do that when I get burned out for my artwork and tarot readings and like Super Metroid speed runnings. I haven't done the speed runnings in a while, but I do Darkest Dungeon to relax more. So I did I played more than I thought in July. So, and work has been picking up again for me, because I've been out of work for like 4 months. So I'm getting back to work. I started back as part-time, but then I'll always be probably part-time, but they put me on next week for 5 days in a row, and I'm like, guys, everything okay? So maybe when I need a break from stuff, I'll give it a go, because I don't want to have it be my main thing. I completely put off the Super Metroid speedrunning, and I really want to get back into that, but also that's more exhausting on my hands. The one cool thing about Darkest Dungeon is it's a point and click, turn-based RPG, so it's like very smooth. I can chat with people. I could enjoy other streams while I play. So I know, this is the new week. I'm off Saturday. I'm going to be out Saturday. Family's visiting next week. I have a doctor's next week, so maybe the following week I might do some Darkest Dungeon again, depending on my work schedule. But for now, this week, it's probably going to be artwork, and if I squeeze in some Super Metroid. Unless one night I come home and I'm like, I can really go for some Darkest Dungeon. So that is also a possibility. But thanks for joining. Hopefully, thanks for